What's up, beautiful people? Welcome to the Joy of Living podcast with Dr. Joy. I am so great to have Angela Calzone on our um, topic today. It's new. It's about nonprofit, but also empowering people with disabilities. Correct?
Correct. Absolutely. I am so thrilled to be here with you.
Yeah, me too. I'm so happy we're gonna get it done. All right, but before we get started, you guys, you know what we do on the Joy of Living podcast, right? We take three deep breaths. Are you ready? Exhale. Nope. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. How do you feel? I know I feel great. Angela, I am so glad that you're with me today. Um, so, uh, for our audience who may be unfamiliar with Inroads to Opportunities, please give us a brief description.
I'd be delighted to. Inroads to Opportunities this year is celebrating its 65th year of service. We have an array of supports and programs that serve individuals with disabilities. And I like to say that disabilities could be visible or invisible.
Right.
So they could be physical disabilities, intellectual developmental disabilities, they could be mental health challenges, but we serve individuals from ages of 16 right through to retirement. We have an array of programs from starting in the high school age from 16 to 21. And the majority of our focus, Dr. Joy, is getting people meaningful and sustainable employment. And that could look very different for each person. Just like we decide what kind of job we want to have, the career path we want to take, the skills and abilities we need to hone and sharpen to be able to have successful and sustainable employment. So we support those individuals who want the very same things. And we are here to provide programs that do life enrichment skills. We do transition from high school to work.
Mm.
Um, we offer vocational training in a variety of programs. And for those who are at the point in their life where they'll say, you know what, I've worked quite a bit and I'm ready to just have some fun, we have some day habilitation programs where it's a lot of socializing and some field trips and arts and crafts. So we have something for everybody here at Inroads.
So I have about 10 questions for you, but the first one I want to ask you is let's talk about your role as president and CEO and your
Mhm.
vision for moving forward as Inroads celebrates its 65th milestone anniversary. Congratulations on
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. My personal professional vision for Inroads, right now we serve about 400 individuals annually
that. Uh-huh.
in the host of programs that we have. And my goal as I'm still relatively new as president and CEO. I took the role on last July 2023.
Hmm.
So it's just been a little over a year and we've made some great strides and partnerships and some changes. And in serving those 400 individuals, I know in our geographic area alone, there are so many more people with disabilities that need our supports and services that haven't even been touched yet.
And where's your location? Because I don't believe you stated that.
Right. We are located in Union County, New Jersey, and we serve much of northern and central New Jersey. And that, this is a densely populated area. We're in the New York metropolitan area, so there's an awful lot of folks in this area.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we can more than double the number of people that we serve in the next 5 years.
And you have the staff and capacity to do that.
We certainly do. We have almost 100,000 square feet in our Union County campus. That's not to say we have to restrict ourselves to where we are now. We're certainly looking at other opportunities and areas to grow our physical real estate, as well as the types of programs that we provide. there's a need for folks as young as 14 years old, and we want to be able to start to provide services for them too. So there's a lot we can do in the next few years, um, in terms of complementing the existing services that we have with more services and supports, maybe reaching even further into the school systems and a younger audience to get those kids with those IEPs as young as 14.
Wow.
And I think there's a lot more that we can be doing on the senior side with individuals with disabilities as they age, and provide meaningful ways to support them post vocation. We're all, hopefully, God willing, going to retire someday. They do as well. And how can we best serve and support them in that period of their life?
That's amazing. The fact that you have such a broad range from age 14, well, right now you said 16, but
16.
you're trying to reduce it to 14. So we're
Right.
talking what, ninth grade, ninth, 10th
Yeah,
grade,
that's
all
it.
the way to, retirement age.
Right.
That is amazing. That's a huge feat. So I also want to bring out the fact that you stated several how disabilities can appear, whether it's mental, physical, emotional. And that's good because some people, when they think about disability, they're very limited and tunnel vision with the focus. So I'm glad that you explained that. So
Mhm.
tell myself and the viewers and the listeners what brought you into this field.
I'm actually not from this space. Throughout my career, I was in for-profit business. I've run companies. I was a serial entrepreneur.
Oh,
And in fact, one of my clients, when I had one of my consulting practices, was Inroads to Opportunities. And so I got to really know them from the inside out, as I have done for many years with a number of my clients.
mm-hmm,
Um, but they held a special place in my heart. They were a client of mine as I was adopting my daughter out of New Jersey foster care, and my little girl came with some complications and some challenges, and I watched how Inroads supported individuals like my daughter, whose disabilities are invisible to the naked eye.
mm-hmm.
And I saw how passionate they were about making sure that the disabilities community had an equal voice, had a seat at the table in every community,
That's good.
um, were heard and were considered when it came time for employment and educational opportunities. And I was so awestruck and inspired that I joined the board for a brief period of time at
Oh,
Inroads.
okay.
And then my daughter needed a much needed life saving transplant. So I was on the board and I was off the board within a brief time. But
Mm-hmm.
Inroads was always very much in my heart. And when I wanted to, come back to New Jersey to be able to spend more time with my daughter, because a lot of my business at that point was in New York City. I wanted to spend more time with my daughter. My mom had moved in. She had some disabilities that we were working with, and the opportunity arose that here at Inroads, we knew that the president and CEO was going to be retiring in a few years. And so the board asked me to come on board and have her mentor me. And I feel like this has always been my home in one way or another. So I'm so thrilled to be doing the work um, that we're doing here. Um, I'm thrilled to be a member of this team. It's an incredible, loyal, passionate, very committed team of people. Um,
That's
it's
great.
it's just a blessing. It's a blessing to be able to help navigate this cause and this mission.
That's great that you had experience, you had vast experience, then you joined the board, and now it's come full circle where
Full
you're the
circle.
president and CEO. So let's discuss misconceptions surrounding employment of individuals with disabilities, right? We know
Mhm,
that that exists,
absolutely.
and the issue that of their unrepresentation in the workforce. What do you have to say
Absolutely.
about
Well,
that?
I have to first make a confession that I was one of those business owners who held those biases in my head.
Okay.
When I had a number of businesses over the years or run other people's businesses, and when I
Mhm.
would be approached by an organization like Inroads, in whatever county or jurisdiction I was in, and I was, would you, why don't you consider one of our folks? They have a disability, but, and I couldn't hear anything after the but
Yeah,
because I
you
thought,
were
oh,
tunnel vision, right?
right there's that television. My first thought as an employer was, oh gosh, this is going to distract my other employees. They're always going to have to help this person. If I hire someone with disabilities, what's that going to do for my customers? Are my customers going to be confused? Is it going to impact negatively our customer service? And on
Mm-hmm.
and on. And all these things business owners and employers think about when they don't really know how valuable and wonderful these folks can be as employees.
So is
Statistics
the training different?
I, I once they're on site with the employer, no, the training is absolutely the same. However, the supports that come with the individual is really incredible. So when you hire a person without an obvious disability, right? You put them through your onboarding process as an employer, and off they go. You've trained them to the best of your ability, and now you send them off to do their job.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what's behind the curtain with that individual in terms of, do they have difficulty advocating for themselves? Are they going to ask, good questions and things like that? So your average employee, it's kind of hit or miss, right? We just hope that they succeed. We do everything we can. But with our folks, when we place them at an employer site, we
Mm-hmm.
are there with them every step of the way. So the employer really gets a whole team of people who stand behind and beside that new employee.
So
We
how
help,
long are you with the employee once they've gotten a job, they've been placed? So what's that process like?
it really depends on the employee and the employer and the needs of the job. For example, we do a lot of placement in the food service industry.
Yeah.
And we have an individual now who's at a pasta manufacturing company, which is an awful lot of fun.
Wow.
And so as he's learning the job, we have the job coach that visits him 3 or 4 times a week. He may stay with him the entire shift. He may be there just, to teach him something new. But there's always that constant communication between the employer, the employee, and those of us who support that employee at the job site. So you have a lot of really systemic support. We can stay with that individual just through the onboarding and training process.
Yeah.
And if that's all that they need from us, then we walk away, but we're always here. Or we can stay with that person through the duration of their employment if that's the need.
So is it full-time employment for these individuals or part-time?
It could be both. It could be both. It really is about what the employer needs and what the individual who's applying for the job is looking for.
Wow.
Just like anything else, just like if I were to apply for a job, I determine if I want to apply for a full-time or a part-time job, right?
So it's the
I
same process.
same process, same
So
process.
how do you get around um I don't want to say pitching because that doesn't, it's not media.
Yeah, no, right, right,
How do you get around the process of um, supporting the candidates to apply for jobs? That's better.
right, right. So, you know what? A lot of it is overcoming the stigma or that preconceived notion, those biases that
Mhm.
all of us employers have had, admittedly,
Yeah.
So it's a lot, we do a lot of community-based education where we have a team of individuals who are called employment specialists and job developers, and they'll go to chambers of commerce meetings, they'll go to central business district groups, and or they'll just knock on doors and start talking about what we do and who we are and we're in the neighborhood, and
The
you know
outreach.
exactly, it's outreach and education, and it's tremendous. And
So,
so
oh, go
really
ahead.
helps. Oh no, I'm sorry. That really helps quite a bit because then that starts to lower the barrier of entry for our
Right.
folks.
Yes.
Um,
So
and then we
I
try to make
want to
those
focus
introductions.
on the younger ones. So
Okay.
how do you get those people, those young people that are 16, 17,
Right.
18 in
Mhm.
school to come to you, to Inroads?
We are actually considered an out of district placement for several school districts.
Ah,
So you could have a school district that may have a special education department, a special education supports and curriculum,
mhm.
but then there are going to be those individual students who need a bit more than
Yeah.
the school system can provide. So they will send their kids to us anywhere from 2 to 5 days a week, and we do all sorts of pre-vocational skills development. How do you go on an interview? Let's take a look at the different jobs that are out there. Which ones might you like? Do you want to try a job? Do you, um, so they get a lot of life skills development. They get a lot of career options development and exposure. And it's a great program. So they have that core foundation of what the high school has given them in terms of their academic needs. And
Right.
then they come to us for that transition from when they're going to go to school out into the workplace potentially. Now,
So is there parental involvement with
oh,
the,
absolutely.
okay.
Yeah, they'll usually, just like any other thing, when you're sending your kid off to a new school or a new program, you come and you take the tour and, you stay in touch with us. Everyone is assigned a counselor here. So the counselors are always in touch with parents and guardians. And
Mhm.
we continue to stay in touch with the school system because that's their, school district as well.
So, Angela, how has Inroads maintained or sustained their level of involvement and the programs and services that they provide? How do
I,
they do that?
I think I have to lay that right at the feet of the staff who have been a, a remarkable force for so many of our individuals. Um, Again, they are sort of always in tune with what's going on in the disabilities community. They are very high on educating the community at large as to who we are and what we do and why we exist and why it's important for us to be who we are. Um, we have a tremendous board of directors who has a lot of longevity in supporting this agency. So these are all very remarkable, mostly unsung heroes.
So, do you
Uh,
have any fundraisers
we
or
do.
because I get it. Now you have a tremendous staff, right?
Mhm.
And you have a tremendous board,
Mhm.
but that also takes, and you mentioned extensive, um, the extensive, place that you have. So that all takes resources. So where does
Oh, it
the money
does.
come from?
Right, right.
How do
Well,
you raise your money?
we money is always one of those interesting things that you can fundraise, and we do. We fundraise quite a bit.
Hmm.
We'll have several programs and events throughout the course of the year. We always have a big annual fundraiser that we just had in September, which was extraordinary and successful. But the lion's share of our dollars are because we have these programs, we are state funded. And so that means we either get funding from the Division of Vocational Rehabilitation in New Jersey or the Division of Developmental Disabilities in New Jersey. Our mental health partial care program. These are individuals that come anywhere from 2 to 5 days again and get mental health support services. And they often have Medicaid or HMO. So, we have different variety of funding sources. We feed, oh gosh, probably over 200 and something people a day in our adult meals program, which is funded in part by the Department of Agriculture.
Wow.
So, each program we have has a different funding source,
And
but
that's
you
there at your location, correct?
go at our location. Yes. Yeah.
So, have you ever thought, is there an inroads? Are there other inroads like in different locations?
No, not
Just
right now. Not right now.
well, but
Mhm.
the all the disabilities that you listed, it's just not contained to New Jersey. This
Correct. Correct.
your inroads should be maybe a template footprint across the United States.
Right, right.
Have
That's
you?
something we've had some conversation
Oh, you
about.
have. Okay.
Yeah,
I
but
know
I'm
it
sorry
would be a big,
you're on the job.
yeah, but it would be a big task. But I
Yes,
think if you're helping 400 people and you're going to grow to 700 or 800, just imagine if there was an inroads in every state.
right, right.
That would be huge.
It would be incredible. I know. I know. And there are sister agencies like us. I mean, the arcs of they are throughout the country, of course. And Easter Seal, for example, Easter
Mhm.
Seals is a large organization, and they do a lot of similar work that we do. We may not all have the same programs and services, but
Right.
the mission is there, the intent is there.
Yeah.
Um, some have residential, we don't. We have purely programs that are daytime.
I was going to ask that next. I said, do you have a residential facility or a
Mhm,
residential program? No,
mhm,
you're
we
going to
don't.
keep it day. Okay, well, that's good. So talk about the event you had on September 27th, a little bit about that was your largest fundraiser, right?
That is our largest fundraiser. So every year we host, which is really great fun. It's an annual casino night, um, and it raises a great deal of funds for us. It's our largest fundraiser of the year, and it brings the community together with our board, with our sponsors and supporters, and everyone has a remarkable time. It's a lot of fun,
Wow.
and we raise much needed funds. A lot of our participants and their families come as well, and we have during that time frame of that event of that program, we have an awards program as well. So we are acknowledging sponsors and partners in the community who have been, especially generous to us, either with their time, their money, or opening their doors as an employer.
Right.
So we want to make sure that that we applaud them and acknowledge them at that awards ceremony as well.
Well, I hope that I know it's successful, and I hope that there's extensive media coverage around your fundraising events because that's another outlet,
Right.
to get the information out there for people to know,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
So, um, I know that October has passed, right? Because that's National Disability Employee Awareness Month. What did you do in support of that month in October?
We did a number of things. We engaged in a lot of community-based events where we, again, out there educating and outreaching to explain to people why our mission is so important. Um, because I think if unless you have a personal connection to the disabilities community, I don't think people truly understand the obstacles we face as it relates to employment and education, and just having a voice. So places like Inroads are super important um, for advocacy as well as for services.
Right. Wow. So, do you have anything planned for like upcoming months through the rest? Well, we're in November. So,
Right. Yeah.
November, December, anything coming up
Of
for?
course, we are always so busy here, and there's always a lot happening at our campus. So, um, we, the population that we happen to serve, we're largely in an urban environment.
How many
And
we gonna have?
so, oh goodness. All right, Jeff, thank you. Have a good weekend.
See you Monday morning.
All right, see you Monday morning. It's one of our participants who,
That's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
Oh no.
He always,
You want him to be in the podcast?
no, he just left because he had to get his access link bus, but they all pop in oftentimes as they're leaving for the weekend to wish me a good week.
That's
They're
great.
very sweet. Um,
Yes.
oh gosh, I'm sorry I lost my way. He just
November and December.
Oh,
Which
November and December.
November and
So
December.
we are in a largely urban environment, and a number of the individuals that we serve are economically disadvantaged. So,
Hmm.
or they maybe, don't live with their families, or they have guardians, or sometimes they're older and um, their immediate family is no longer with them. So
Yeah.
um, we have an incredible Thanksgiving lunch 2 days before Thanksgiving. Um, and everyone at the center, of course, is invited. The staff do the serving, and we have turkeys and pies and all the fixins, and everybody has just such a wonderful time. So that's coming up the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. We have a few holiday parties planned, and um, they always have a great time at that. Gosh, there's just so many things that we do during the holidays. We do a lot of tree lighting. We have the Inroads choir will be performing again in early December. And we perform to standing room only audiences. Our music therapy department leads the choir,
Uh-huh.
and from participants across the agency, regardless of what program they're in, they like to sing, they're going to come and be a part of the choir. And yeah, so there's a lot going on during the holidays here.
So, Angela, 2025, what do you plan to do, or what would you like to accomplish? That's a better question.
Right.
What would you like to accomplish in roads for 2025?
Well, I think there's a few of our programs that are on the road to expansion. So we're going to continue to facilitate that process. Um, there is advocacy at the state and federal level that we're going to continue to do for individuals with disabilities.
That's good.
And, without being political, anytime there's a change in administration, we've got to make sure that we're right back on the scene and that our voices are being heard. Um, so
Yes,
we're going to be busy. We're going to be busy next year.
yes. Well, this has been very informative. How can people learn more about Inroads and learn more about you?
Oh, thank you. Well, the best bet is to go to our website, which is Inroads, TOINROADS.org, and everything about us, our services, all the news that we make here. It's all right there on the website, even ways to donate and support us.
Okay,
Our
that's good.
website.
Can you state your website one more time, please?
For inroads2.org, because we decided if it was inroads to opportunities, there's way too much
That's too
opportunity
many. Yeah, so
for
it's
misspelling.
Inroads. I'm jotting it down so then that way I can put it in the
Sure.
description. Inroads to
Mm-hmm.
dot
Dot
org.
org. Mm-hmm.
The number two, right?
No, see, it's TO
Oh,
because we're
and
inroads to opportunities.
yeah.
So,
Oh, T for two and O for opportunities. Got
correct.
it. Got it. All right. Well, thank you for being a guest on the
Thank
Joy of
you.
Living with Dr. Joy podcast and sharing the information about Inroads and all of the programs that you're doing. Much success to you because I know this is a relatively new role for what, one
Yes.
year,
Yeah.
right? And congratulations on 65 years of success and
Thank you.
beyond.
Yes. Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure to get to talk with you.
Yes, same here. You take care.
You
Bye-bye.
too. Bye-bye.
Uh,